Hello. All right, so it's day 11, I guess, because it's past midnight already. It's day 11 of my journey of being or trying to be a high value woman. As I mentioned yesterday, I actually went to a church event yesterday. And I wanted to share a little bit about what I learned there, what happened there, and what I took away, right? So from the event itself is really good, by the way. Catholics who are looking for a community and you're in Indonesia, or even if you're not, right, do check out Domus Cordis or JP2 Youth Indonesia. It can be found on YouTube, and if you're Indonesian, I highly suggest joining these communities because I feel like I learned a lot from joining these communities, especially volunteering in them. The speakers, the people there are all really wise, and yeah, I just like it. But anyways, today's topic was interesting because it was talking about what is the value of a woman in the Catholic sense of things, right? And both Domus Cordis and also JP2 actually focuses a lot on the teachings of Pope John Paul II, right? So I do want to share a little bit, right? Which is the speaker basically said, as you know, as time passes with social media on the rise, with a lot of things on the rise, our sense of worth, insecurities, they're all getting worse amongst the younger generation, including myself, right? In compared to, I think, the older generation. And one thing that the speaker said, which kind of resonated with me, was if you are so sure that God loves you and you are so secure in his love, then even though you might still face insecure thoughts, anxious thoughts, or you might still compare yourself to other people, you would have a stronger sense of self because you know that your worth is rooted in God. And yeah, like, he created you, he has a plan for you, he wants the best for you, he brought you to this world. You are made for greatness, you're made for great things. It's just whether or not you want to say yes to the greatness that is planned, which will require a lot of hard work, both emotionally, mentally, physically, and everything, right? It's about constantly trying to be the best version of yourself, which, you know, for me at least, I felt like, oh, okay, this is proof that I am on the right track, right? That God wants me to be better, and I'm trying to be better. And then they asked this question, which is, as a woman, is your value only in like getting married, having kids, and then raising your grandkids and then dying? Like, that seems like such a pointless life if you're not doing anything more. But what is the more that you're called to do? Yeah, do you know? The speaker also asked, like, many people are trying to chase happiness, right? But what makes you happy? What truly makes you happy? Like, if you have nobody keeping you company doing that, if you can't post it on social media, if no one knows about it, if you know, if you are the last person on earth, I guess, is there something that still makes you happy doing? Is there something that you would still be happy doing just for you and really for your sake only? And I think the part that kind of slapped, kind of shock therapy for me was when the speaker actually said, theology of the body, right, basically talks about, I mean, and you can search this up on Google, I guess, or or just read the books on theology of the body, but the concept is that our bodies actually tell a story, and kind of gives us a roadmap of what God kind of intends for us, right? So in the case of a woman, because we're on the receiving end of the procreation journey, right, we receive the sperms, like, as if you put it in that way. So the speaker actually talks about how one of the main roles of a woman is to receive, to be able to receive, and yet, and I'm totally guilty of this, right? I have been trained to be independent, to be self-sufficient, to be strong, to be like to be, I guess, an alpha. That sounds so bad. Okay, but basically to be a very strong, independent individual. And the cost of that is that when a man comes along and offers help, I go, I don't need it. like I think that's one of my biggest issues, which is I really emasculate a lot of males, I feel. Yeah. I mean, I think I make them feel emasculated, right? So, which, okay, I mean, a part of me wants to say these men are just weak, but at the same time, I hear it. If a lot of people, if multiple people are saying that I'm intimidating, and like, they feel challenged as a man around me, then maybe it's time to self-reflect. And I did. And I guess one of my biggest flaws is that I don't make men feel needed. I never thought it was a issue until it was raised today. And I guess, again, it goes back to Catholic teachings, right? Where it is believed in our teachings that women should be more nurturing and supportive, where men are given the more leadership of the household positions. I'm not talking about women not being able to become leaders in the workplace. In fact, I myself definitely would have an issue with that. But I think what I do believe and what I understand from this talk was that ultimately, for the relationship to really work and for everyone to play their conventional conventional gender roles, is that a man should be the head of the household. That means he makes the important decisions. Not to say that a woman's job is to blindly follow, because I think that's dumb. but when I marry someone, at least, okay, I'm talking about me because I don't want to overgeneralize. But when I marry someone, I want to be able to follow his lead. It's not that he has to be the richest man in the world, or it's not like, he has to always be richer than me and earns more than me. Like, I know shit happens. I know sometimes, things happen, and I understand, and I'll be very supportive when those situation comes. But I think I would have an issue if he's very complacent and he's lazy and he doesn't want to work, and I'm the one carrying the weight of the family. Like, I would think that would be a very unhealthy situation for me to be in. So I completely agree that I would want to marry a man who acts like a leader, who I can respect, who I can look up to, who I can listen to and follow his lead. So yeah, I mean, well, it's my pond. So I guess, yeah, I learned, or I was rudely awoken to the fact that I have trouble receiving. I I haven't discerned as to why. I think it's because I fear by receiving help or by receiving anything from anyone, I put myself in a weaker position, and that means being vulnerable, and I hate being vulnerable. Yeah, I hate losing control. So anyways, um and another thing that she said was basically, if you're still single and you're still hoping to get married someday, she talked about how it is in the waiting that we need a lot of courage and faith and hope, because there's so much anxiety and uncertainty in the waiting, right? You don't know what's coming next. So she suggested that we use this time of singlehood to deepen our relationship with God, and also to better ourselves, to get to know ourselves better, because half and half just doesn't work. We need whole and whole. Right. Yeah, but in summary, I think that's kind of what I took away from the TOB talks this morning. Another thing that I wanted to share was what happened during this event. So as I shared yesterday, I was one of the volunteers, right? And I was tasked with a number of things. I had to operate a Zoom. I had to operate Zoom, which was basically on my left computer, right? And then on top of that, I was given another screen, because I also had to make sure that all the displays in this event was running well, and what was showing in the Zoom and what was showing on the display is different, right? So those were two things already. And then I had another computer on my right, which basically, which basically was for me to ensure that everything in the comments and everyone who's joining the event online was, being made to feel welcome, and I was, I guess, engaging with them and making sure that they're in the loop, right? And on top of that, I also was given a task to write down notes, which is why I was able to give the summary of what I learned in the event, because I also had to write down notes, right? And on top of that, in front of me, so there's one screen, one computer, and on my right, another computer, and in front of me, there was a machine that basically allowed me to control camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Well, in today's situation, there was only 2 cameras, right? So camera 2, 3. But then something happened and it became camera 3 or 4. And then I had a headset on top of everything, because I had to be listening for coordination, right? Of course, the event didn't go 100% perfectly. Like from the very beginning, there was a screw up because the internet died multiple times. So I was going back and forth, like trying to tether the internet and then connecting to the Wi-Fi, and then we got disconnected, the whole thing got shut down, and then I had to reconnect everyone. Yeah, anyways, it was a bit of a mess. However, so during this event, with all this mess happening, I was also pretty distracted. I was writing an email, which, now that I look back, I don't know why I felt like I had to send that email at the very time during the event, right? But I did. And when I was about to attach stuff into the email, and while I was typing out the email, my co-volunteer who was sitting next to me was tapping me, and It actually happened like, I think 2 or 3 times, during the whole event, right? Where he tapped me and he basically told me, hey, D, change the screen, or hey, D, the camera's down, hey, D, switch this, switch that, right? So it happened, I think 3 times or 4 times. I don't know if my mind is playing tricks on me, but it happened more than twice for sure. And you know, it's so dumb. It is so dumb. But for some reason, the fact that he did that made me feel very crap about myself. Like, I think for some reason, my mind played a trick on me and told me, like, hey, this guy thinks you're crap. Like, this guy thinks you can't do your job right. This guy thinks you're not being focused. This guy thinks you're not doing a good job. When actually he didn't say any of that. He just went, Diana, change the screen. And I did, like, instantly, right? And even after the event ended, right, I got praises from multiple people because I think they knew I was multitasking. And it was very new, right? And so many screw-ups were happening, and I still kind of managed to smooth out the situation. But I couldn't shake the feeling that one guy who was sitting next to me thought that I was crap. Even when I'm saying it, I'm going, what's wrong with your brain, Diana? But as I kind of almost spiraled, I suddenly was reminded of a video clip that I watched yesterday, which, you know, sometimes I think God works in amazingly, ridiculously funny ways, which is, I guess this clip really helped me kind of reset my mindset. And the clip basically says that I think the clip was talking about this thing called the 4 a.m. theory. I have to recheck it, but it basically talks about how it is the man or the woman who, on the day that everything fails, their business fails, they go bankrupt, their car breaks down, their boyfriend breaks up with them, their family member dies, so, you know, when shit hits the fan, the guy who succeeds or is called great, or the guy who is, you know, the successful one, I guess, is the person, guy or woman, guy or girl, man or woman, is the one who didn't give up. And then it got me thinking, right? Could I have done today's event better? Of course I could. I could have been more vigilant. I could have been more focused. I could have been more sensitive to the needs of the speaker, the host, the cameraman, the people in Zoom. I could have done all of it better. And the fact was, the hard truth was, I was very distracted today. So, instead of being hyper-focused on what this guy thinks of me, and very rightfully so, because I was very distracted and he could see my screen. So, I mean, yeah, I would understand the judgment, because I would have made the same judgment about that person. I mean, if that person was another person and not me, but yeah, you get me. So, yeah, so I think that got me feeling a lot better. It was basically like, okay, Diana, you screwed up. All right, do better. I think that's it. Like, I guess what I wanted to share is, shit's gonna hit the fan. You're gonna screw up at work. You're gonna do something stupid. You're gonna say something mean. You gotta say something insensitive. You are gonna do it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're gonna say something that you thought was funny but completely was lame. you wanna, you maybe you wanted to say something that you thought was a joke, but it came out completely wrong and sounds so rude and offensive. You could have the best intentions in wanting to do something, but it came out absolutely wrong because of many reasons. Instead of letting it bring you down and get you stuck, just go, yeah, that happened. That was a shit version of me, but that was the version of me 24 hours ago. I'm better now. I know better now. I know what to do now to be better. And then I think it's making the conscious choice of doing better. So, to end that note, I screwed up my diet. I mean, is it discouraging? Yes. I'm upset that I cannot keep to a very simple 1,500 calorie plan diet. Why do I keep going over 2,000? Why am I so obsessed? Why am I so obsessed with my liquid calories? I had a bubble tea and a coffee and Pocari Sweat. Yeah, that was a lot of liquid calories. I should know better, but I do now. So, I think ultimately, to refresh back my memory, to remember what Rocky said in his famous movie, his famous line, which is, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how much you can take and get back up. So I'd like to just end with that quote. All of you who are struggling, it's okay. All of you who made mistakes, it's okay. All of you who screwed up your diet, gained a few pounds, it's okay. It's okay. You live, you learn, you do better. All right, I need sleep. I don't think I'll be able to sleep because of that coffee, but let's try. Toodaloos. Okay, I shouldn't be saying that. Good night. Bye-bye.